Okay, so it's the evening time, but it's the same day. But I just got a notification, so I gotta leave in the morning early for a family emergency. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if I'll have time because every night is so jacked. I don't know. I could be up at 1 in the morning. I could be up at 6 in the morning. I have no idea. I was like, fuck, I should just go ahead and do a recording, even though this probably won't be a very long one. But um, I don't like to just leave people wondering, like, what happened? What happened? Even when one takes so long, like the one today to download, it takes all freaking day, just out of the blue, like for no reason. I don't, but it could very well be my internet. And there's so many people saying that my videos are just jacking up when they try and watch them. I just show and they are just going backwards on my following and stuff. Like they are doing stuff, it's like an interference, but I think it's like the last interference. Like I think things are about to really make some significant shifts the other direction. But anyways, but we have an emergency, and it's one of it is expected. To me, is expected. I mean, I've been talking about it. It's like I could see it coming. Because I have two ex-son-in-laws that struggle with drugs, and the one who I've talked about before who has schizophrenia. And so, anyways, he has drugs are, they are a definite path. And so he's on a ventilator. Hopefully, he'll make it till my granddaughter gets there. So I don't know, you know. I mean, and there can be miracles. People can, like right now, he's on the other side going back and forth. I mean, he can pull back into his body and face his consequences. It's just so many people when you get over to the other side, it just feels so good. It just feels good to get home. It's just like, oh, it feels so good. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. So it's just, I mean, everybody's so scared to leave here, but it's like you're going home. Like anybody who's going home, just be like, oh, God, don't feel sad for them. Be, excited for them. And don't, for God's sakes, don't devalue someone's life. Especially right now, there's going to be a lot of people dying from drugs and, a lot of things are going to be taking people out. And don't minimize their lives. Every life has value. Every life, like that life, you know how many lessons people are going to learn? How much that educates the whole universe. So don't minimize anybody's life. I feel like so many people just like, well, they're just a drug addict. No, I saw this video today. It was tragic. This little girl, she was bawling her head off. And she said that, she pulled up at a grocery store or something, some parking lot. And some guy came over to her and he apologized and he said, I'm not trying to bother you or anything. He said, I'm an addict, but I really need to eat. And if you could just, it's going to make me cry. And he's like, if you could just help me out. And so she was like, okay, let's go in the store. And so she went in the store and she bought him a bunch of food and some water and stuff like that. And so then he was just like, just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then when they got outside, he said, do you have a minute to talk? And she said, yeah, that she did. And he had told her that just in that day alone, how many times that people had walked past him, called him a bum, said, get a job, loser. He had been spit on. Like, what? What? How does another human just kick another one when it's down? Like, our society, you can see why this shit has to go down. Our society has gotten so fucking nasty, so belittling, and it's when you pull away from your spirit, because I, being a person who does follow the spirit, is to understand that every life has value, like all of them. the lessons that guy's learning, the lessons that girl learned, the lesson that she just passed on. We're all always learning compassion. And she said, she was just bawling. She just couldn't even believe somebody spit on somebody. She just was like so heartbroken. And she said, I have so much sympathy. And then she goes, no, it's not that. I have so much empathy. And that is what I had said, is waking up in people. Remember when I had said that, I'm talking like everybody remembers all the way back when I started talking, but some of y'all who listen do. And then some people who were listening back then aren't there anymore, but there's some, we've been going through this the whole time together. So, if you remember, I had talked about that a few years ago, and now I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. So, so anyways, it's really just important to not minimize anybody's experience, anything anybody goes through. All is important. Everybody has purpose. Nobody's purpose overrides another person's purpose. I mean, people here are so shallow and superficial that they think somebody has more value because they're beautiful, they're rich, they're famous, so therefore they have more value. But it's they don't have more value, as you are valuing the wrong thing. I think this is such a good story, and I thought this was one of the things where I wanted to talk earlier, and then I thought, well, I'll talk in the morning, but then I was like, well, I should just do it now. So I went and got my car. The timing on everything, swear to God, dude, everything is like, man, when you get in sync and you're not fighting everything, trying to control life, you just start seeing the magic, man. And so anyways, I got my car, and so when I called to check and see if I was ready, and it was like 2:34 when I did, and so he was on a test drive and stuff, but anyways, it all got situated. It was way less than it was supposed to be. And so I had said, oh wow, cool, it's less than I thought it was going to be. And so she worked there at the other one when it was owned by the other owner. And this is the cool story. This is something I think people really need to understand. And this is when you're in sync with the universe. Like, everybody keeps trying to do this stuff and be in sync with this weirdo, freaky world instead of being in sync with the universe. And being in sync with the universe is about your energy. And so, the guy who used to own the place, because when I very first moved out here and I had to take my car in, he was just abrupt. He was kind of just a gruff, grumpy old guy. And so he wasn't very likable. But, I still wanted to support like a local person, and I don't know his issues. I don't know his problem that day or whatever, So anyways, it ended up he sold it. He sold it to a guy who worked for him. And this place is really cool because it's out here rural. And so it's this only one and it is so the guy had his house and stuff and had property, and then he just built up his mechanic business to really build it up. And so it's cool because you have your house and your business right there. And so the mechanic got it. And so he moved his family into the house. And the grumpy guy moved on. But the secretary is the same girl. And every time I go, she's always telling me these stories. But the grumpy guy, he was always just grumpy. He like pushed people away. He would, she told me today because I said something about it was cheaper. And she started telling me, that they had to do both belts, both of the serpentine belts. And when they did that, they have to do the oil anyways. So even though I'm getting a maintenance and getting the oil changed and stuff, because it was a part of that, the serpentine belts, having to have it all emptied out and then having to have it replaced is a part of that service, that he just includes it in that service. So he doesn't add it on as an extra feature onto the bill. And she said that's the cool thing about this guy is he's like that. He doesn't try and figure out every way he can to cost um the customer more money. And so that is, where I just have so much respect for somebody who sees the bigger picture about community and takes other people's lives in mind and isn't just trying to get rich off of everybody else and undercut people and screw people over and stuff like not undercut them, overcharge them. I don't think he undercut anybody. Overcharged people. Anything he could charge extra, he would. And so I think that the thing that is interesting about it, she said that, and I said, well, I just appreciate this guy so much. It seems, he has a good part of the community because he has a bigger vision. And she was saying, um, he's brought so much business in. Like she said, he has so much business because of all the people that were going away from the grumpy guy are all coming. And this guy's getting 10 times the amount of business because everybody loves him so much. So he's just getting rich by being a kind person. So see, it's about the energy. The other guy was angry, he was mad, he was pushing people away. He was putting out this toxic energy and it was coming back on him. This guy puts out loving, caring, he's still in there working hard. He's, he provides a service, and he is a legit, somebody who has integrity. Like if I stop up there, he will come out and, put the monitor on, and he doesn't ever get frustrated if something's not going good. He doesn't start stomping around or anything. He always just stays totally low key. He's a really young guy, and he's got kids and a wife and stuff because you'll see him out in the yard. And I just think, see, that's the kind of thing we're headed to. That's like that energy's already been changing for some people, and we're headed towards that. We're headed away from that other kind of, and so that's why I try and say if you're of that energy, that kind, just want to screw people over and put you first, and it's not the energy that's going to go forward. You'll start everything will go wrong. Everything will go wrong for you. But if you're doing the other and you're just out there just trying to be caring and loving and community minded and thinking about others, and you're putting that energy out there, that's going to come back. And everything will just start going good. Whatever you're trying to do will be successful. You'll draw people in towards you because it's all about this energy. And, it's what you're putting out comes back to you. And people have to start recognizing that's more of what life that you have control over. You don't have control over every little thing, or if everybody's going to be nice to you, or if everybody's going to like you, or any of that stuff. You don't have control over any of that stuff. And you got to get to the point of not worrying about it, seeing the bigger picture, seeing why you're here, understanding that, you are here experiencing and learning. And like right now, I mean, my granddaughter is, a part of her path is being laid. A significant part, a part that not very many people experience. Not a lot of people's parent dies when they're really young. And so, I bet he could, a miracle can happen. And this is the time, like if you have family members that are in these states, not being all the way out, still being half in, that is where people think, well, go pray, go pray. Go pray directly to your person. Go talk directly to your person. Go cross into that realm where they are and start talking to them. And, they're going to be going through it. They're going to, usually when you end up over there on the other side like that, you're getting shown things and taught things and reminded who you are and stuff. Like it's a whole experience. It's not ever by accident. It's all to, you know, it's all a purpose. And a lot of times it is to get you back on track. And, but a lot of times it's to, give people time to get there. You just don't know until things finish. But this is the time when you start going in and talking to them directly or praying to them and asking them, you ask them to stay, acknowledge their journey, acknowledge all this stuff, But whatever you do, you don't make promises you're not going to keep. Don't sit there and say, please come back. I'll be there for you every day. I'll never not take your phone call. Don't do that. If that's not your, you got to be real because when they come back, they have things to face too. They have a lot of hard stuff to face. And I think, things are always going to go the way they're going to go. There's nothing that we can do to control it. It's all, like I say all the time, it's like you get on a ride. You're birthed in, you get on a ride, and that ride it has its own trajectory, its own experience, and then the experience completes. And that's all it is. That's all it is. And there's so many more people now talking about, like scientists and stuff, talking about, that we're not real and that we are like a picture or a hologram or kind of like a dream and stuff. But the whole thing is that any of this stuff, don't let any of this stuff freak you out because I'm telling you, when I came out of my body, you don't need any of this stuff. Like you feel just as alive. Yeah, I think the whole thing about this density to come in, like I've said, is like so to feel sensation, to taste, to smell, to feel wind, and we all work together to create the experience. But, when we blow out of here, we go back to real life. Like your dead life is your real life. That is, that's something that people really got to see. They fear so much of leaving this dream world and instead of going back to their real life where you know who you are, it's different than this. There's so much confusion and stuff, but I think that's all just part of the game. I think it's part of the experience because it's part of the challenge. It's like an obstacle. It's like there's a lot of dark shit to have to still remember who you are and still choose to do the right thing. But then not everybody is meant to choose to do the right thing. Just like, people who go through addiction and die and stuff like that. There's so many lessons, like how they injured the people, how they left the people, and then seeing what drove them. Like there's just so it's all about perspective. It's all about being able to see every possibility, see everything that you can imagine, and then we play it out. We play it out to see it. So it's not just it's like I said, it's like written. It's like the book is written, but then the movie comes out. And so but there is no lenience because the written is the script. So there's no going off of it. That's why the story is written. Everyone's story is written when they come in. So there's nothing you can do to make a mistake. That is all a misconception that they create in one's mind, that you can make a mistake, that something can go wrong, that an accident can happen or something like that. No, it's exactly going to play out exactly the way it's going to play out. And the more, and see, the thing is what they have people, because people don't understand that. It's like people are gripping on. And so they interfere with their own energy. They interfere with their own movement. And they grip on to things that they fear, that they need to control. And So they're trying to hold on to things that you can't hold on to. And so it creates frustration, it creates depression, it creates tons of anxiety. It creates all sorts of issues for people in their mind, in their adaptation of, their experience of what life is or what living is. And so it's, there's a huge interference. So I keep saying everything is like this interference of your perception, your perspective, which interferes with your energy and stuff. But so when you get into the flow, when you get into understanding everything is a destined thing, you're on the ride. And the more that you can acknowledge the ride and, be a participant, so that when experience happen, you're in the moment, you're in the experience, and you get what you're supposed to get. It's like, it's cool, like the visual thing that I can see, but I don't fucking know how to explain that. But it's like two different things. It's like two different possibilities. It's like going in the room and knowing what you need, and going in the room and just wasting your time and just talking and then leaving the room, or going in the room and getting the things you need. It's like the difference of that. So it is when you participate in your experience, where you are, you're getting what you are supposed to get. Uh, um, there was something that I had wanted to say too. Yeah, there's so many things going on. There's so many things going on in people's relationships and stuff. But it is uh, just certain things. Because there was something, I was like, oh man, I think that's something everybody does. And it's something that, we have to just stop and look at and go, oh, that's a habitual, toxic. We don't want to do that kind of stuff anymore. Everything, you've got to come back on ourselves. How do we feel about things? What do we want from something? And you have to be willing to, when you make your boundaries, that not everybody's going to continue being in it. You have to stand up for yourself, like, and to trust that may take you in a new direction. You may leave a whole group of friends. Like, and one thing too is this stuff right now, like, there's a lot of people are becoming new Trump lovers. Like, they're just so excited. So whatever he's doing out there is getting people drawn in. So people are, I mean, they maybe were progressive before, and now it's just being so run into the fucking ice wall that now they're looking at the other guy as like, well, maybe I should look at him a little different now. But people are like, he's so funny. And he is so funny. But you have to get his sense of humor. You have to see where he's coming from. But so more and more people are liking him. More and more people are hating the other guy. So all of that stuff's about to blow up. I don't know what has gone on with the money thing. It's like they're just hiding some things on social media. It's like there's certain things that they don't want us to know about or something. And all the people over by Michigan and stuff are very concerned about the storms. There was a lot of old men even saying, this is so unnatural. And when you see the footage of the lightning and stuff and the colors, it was, who knows? Like, everything is just building up and building up. Everything is coming to a head. And, there's going to be more and more people are going to be passing. And, but don't just give up on people either, because there's going to be some comebacks. Like, one thing is on that Oliver Anthony is, I think it's Oliver Anthony. I might have said Anthony Oliver before, but anyways, I think it's Oliver Anthony. The two first name things always get me, but anyways, I just heard this story, and I don't know if it's true, but it said that he had reached rock bottom. He was doing bad in addiction. in depression and stuff. He was just had reached his bottom. And so he started praying and saying, God, if you uh, save me, I'll do your work or something. I'll be there for you, whatever it was. And then 30 days later, he has this big, huge hit song, and he's out there. Like the one little concert I had seen footage of him at, he was out reading out of the Bible and stuff. Like he is really out there trying to spread, and then plus, that's why I was saying there's going to be a lot of these kinds of stories, just these like miraculous stories, and it's not over, the almighty. It's going to be, people are going to start realizing that they're saving themselves. They're reaching, is those come to Jesus moments, is reaching your bottom and still wanting to pull yourself out of it. And a lot of people, they reach their bottom and it's just so dark, they don't know how to get out of it. And so it swallows them, but there's so many things playing out. Like you don't know everybody's different soul things that they're playing out. It's way too versatile. You can't even begin to guess. Is like, look, trying to find a pin in a thing of hay. It's just as it just is, it's unnecessary. It is a part of what they wanted to create with their division, with their black and white, and this weird world that they wanted to make. That was just a tug of war, control people. I just saw footage of one of the places where they're preparing the 15-minute city, where they're building the places where people are going to live, and it literally looks like a prison. The person was saying, "Man, this looks more like a prison." I don't remember what all they were saying, but all I was like, "Oh my God, it looks fucking like a prison." Like, Jesus Christ, like what I was saying about cubicle living. Yeah, I just want people in a cubicle. Get you smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Take up less and less space, because honestly, all they want you is like in a fucking black box. They don't want you to fucking take anything. All they want is your consciousness. All they want is your energy. Your consciousness, like I keep saying. Outside of this body is everything. Everything is you. And so that part of you, your consciousness, the part of you that I say is still you, even when this is gone. And you're still standing there. Like when I came out of my body and I was still there, I was still walking around and shit. There's nothing. But the thing is that all these people who don't know they have that part of them, and these mind controller fuckers are getting access. And so that is, to me, that is what the awakening is about. So they don't take your goddamn fucking soul right out of you, because that's what they're fucking doing. And all these people are oblivious that they even have it. And all of a sudden you can find your ass in a black box and you gotta think. But one thing too is, I think that a lot of the people, they go into some sort of weird metaverse where they don't know they're somewhere different. They're in some weird world, just like us waking up and realizing that we're really playing this out, like in the same kind of thing, like in a movie screen or in a video game or something. Like we're doing that. So it's kind of like we're waking up to that same kind of concept, like we're not real. I mean, that's a big thing, especially when they've convinced you for so long, you're flesh and blood, and you're going to die. And, oh my God, what happens if you die? Well, you're the only thing out there in the whole wide world, and all this bullshit that they were fucking telling people. Instead of telling them, what kind of shit I say about spirit, you have destiny, you're here for a purpose. It's about you growing and evolving, and all of your lives all have significance. Everybody's life has significance. There's nothing that doesn't matter. But there's nothing that doesn't matter, or there's nobody who doesn't matter, but there's nothing that matters too much. There's nothing that is so serious that you need to have anxiety or stress about it. Even if you don't win at this game, You just go over to the review thing. You just go over it. It's not like it's a big fucking deal. It's not like this is the only game. There's fucking tons of them. And you go to all different lives, all different experiences. So you are always challenging yourself. It's not like you are going to mess up or disappoint somebody. You are your own dog in the race. So, and I just think people just take things way more serious and get really stressed out and give a lot of anxiety and stuff over things that, if you could enjoy the ride more, if you weren't thinking that you could control it, if you realize that, oh, fuck, I can't do shit. This is going. I better just be open to meet who I pull in each time that my boat docks. I need to be ready to meet the experience. And so when you get into that mindset, you live differently. To me, it's like that, like more island mentality. It's more Eastern or something. I read it, in the Buddha philosophy kind of thing. It's, knowing you are right where you're supposed to be, and no matter what, it is always right where you're supposed to be. All of these different things. It's like when you're not realizing it, you're fighting against the universe. You're fighting against your very being. You're fighting against your own energy. And that is what has people so frazzled all the time, where they're just a wreck and they're not productive in their own lives, and they're combative with other people, and they hold on to resentment and anger, and, they're just not productive in their own existence. So, anyways, but that is what this awakening, I think, has a big part to play about the getting people to be more proactive in their lives, working their way up out of the lower chakras. And I just saw a thing where somebody was talking about with the lower chakras, and that it's the RAM and something else, but that in the lower chakras is where you hold your trauma. And when you're holding your trauma, because you're so busy holding on to it and being reactive, you're just reactive. So you're not really participating in life. You think, well, I was there. I know because, and all this stuff, but you're reactive. You go to your automatic response. You have an auto response. So, oh, that's what it was. Okay, yeah, because it was, somebody was talking about writing somebody a message, and they said, do you think this sounds bad or whatever? And the thing to me is what everybody's got to really realize, and I told this person this too, is like, you got to realize that no matter what, the other person, you can't outthink them. You can't overthink. You are trying to figure out like what this person, how they're going to take it, what they're going to think, what they're going to say. See, that is the toxic way we used to interact that you got to move past. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be vulnerable. You got to put yourself out there and come from the heart and take a risk. And then when you put yourself out there and you say how you feel, then it has nothing to do, how they feel. But we get so caught up in trying to overthink. And then, we won't send to something, we won't say something because we overthink it. But everything that is supposed to be said is going to be said. Like when something comes to you and you feel compelled, like that is like your higher self starts making you feel like, oh my God, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta say this, I gotta say this, I gotta stand up for myself, or I gotta, apologize, or whatever your thing is. You won't be able to shake it. And so then, but oftentimes, because we have been taught to be so toxic, we'll sit there and overthink it and think like how they're going to react, how they're going to take it, what are they going to do, and all of that kind of stuff. And you can't. There's no way. You cannot figure out how someone is perceiving, because they're perceiving very different than what you can even understand. And so then But it is important for you to still play your part and to still say what you need to say. But it is important to also be mindful and go in and go through what you want to say and really acknowledge it, like really be clear to yourself, like, and it's important to me to, when you're being mindful about what you say, to really, you're not trying to hit below the belt, you're not trying to aim low, you're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, you're trying to express how you feel about something. And and if you are doing toxic things, like if you're trying to, I'm going to kind of say how I feel, but I'm also going to just tell them, they're a jerk, then you're not healing, because you don't need to. There's a difference, because what you need to do is really come up with how you feel about something. Take a risk, put yourself out there, talk about your feelings. And then what their reaction is, then that gives you your next play. It gives you your next thing. All these things that we come here to play out have a significant reason, but you can't hold yourself back from playing your part because you think, oh, what if this, what if that, what if this? But when you're playing your part, you want to play it with integrity. You want to play it with compassion. You want to play it with love. You don't want to play it with bitterness and anger, resentment, hairpin trigger. So you want to be thinking, it's like leveling up in your behavior, leveling up in your responses, leveling up in how you behave and how you look at things and stuff. So it's just like growing up. It's like we're all needing to mature. We're all needing to grow up. We've all been, kind of held back on purpose. And so, and it has so much about, just uh, thinking for yourself, weighing things out. Go in and really, get in touch with your own feelings. See how you feel about things. Be willing to put your feelings out there. Risk having somebody, they may not think your feelings are important, but who cares? If they're important to you, that's what matters. Then that gives you a clear sign like, oh, okay, thank you. Because now I know you're not somebody I want in my life. And so it's good when you put yourself out there and get clarity out there in the world. So anyways, I haven't been talking that long, but it seems like it's getting dark and I feel like I've been talking a long time. But anyways, the things I had just said, have compassion for people. Don't minimize other people's experiences, and really be clear on what you're putting out there, and don't play games. Don't try and, well, if I do this, then they'll do that, and don't get in those things. Those are bad habits you want to break free from. Being clear about what you want, and then putting it out there, and then don't, and a lot of things going on in relationships and stuff like that. Don't be a quick hairpin trigger. Be mindful, take your time. Don't think everything has to be this split second. Because a lot of times when you make rash decisions, then you end up feeling bad about yourself, doubting yourself, and right now especially, everything you do that is toxic is going to be magnified in your mind. It's going to be magnified, your experiences and stuff. And it's all to get you to acknowledge your own behaviors so that you can really start seeing. So don't turn a blind eye, go get drunk and hide from yourself. Really look at yourself, really try and understand yourself and see yourself, and know, you gotta go for the things that you want, but it's not the same as like, chasing fame or something. Like, these people think like that's what they want, is this stuff, but there's no substance to what they want. There's no substance to what they're doing or bringing to the table. They just want this vague, artificial idea because they think that they're going to be happy. So it is following your dreams, following the things that make you happy. When you follow the things that make you happy, and you're going out in the world and putting joy in your with integrity and stuff, that is where the universe is going to repay you with abundance, and everything will come back that you're putting out. So anyways, just keep that in mind, because that's what I was trying to say, or whatever. See, I'm tired. I haven't ever gone. This day has been so disjointed. I know I raked. I did rake, and went and got my car. I went on a long ass walk. But everything is just disjointed. Nothing goes together or something. But I haven't been back to bed. But I don't even remember. Was this the night that I got up in the middle of the night? Fuck, I don't fucking know. Maybe this was one that I slept longer. But anyway, I feel like I'm never getting goddamn sleep. So I always feel tired, especially like now. Because now it's 8:05. So, Grumpy's crying about coming in. So anyways, I wanted to do this. I'll see you in the morning. I might go ahead and do another video in the morning, and then download it. But see, that one could take all day because of the downloading the situation. So anyways, I wanted to do this so that it wouldn't be confusing. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.